Have you ever wondered what would happen if on any given day you simply chose to walk away? Not by physically disappearing, but by detaching yourself, cutting the invisible threads that bind you to others. What if you stepped back, not out of anger or resentment, but simply because you needed to be with yourself? Most people don't realize it, but distance holds a strange, almost unsettling power. Stepping out of someone's orbit disrupts a delicate balance, not just because they miss you, but because your absence forces them to confront something far deeper. It's not the emptiness that disturbs them, but what that emptiness reveals. Here's the fascinating part. Your absence doesn't hurt because of who you were to them, but because they can no longer use you as a projection. People don't see you as you truly are. They see you as they need you to be, a mirror reflecting their insecurities, desires, and expectations. When you step away, they're not staring at the gap you left behind. They're facing the shattered reflection they once saw in you. Think about it. How often have you been told that you matter, that you're needed, that someone couldn't do something without you? But deep down, doesn't it always seem like those words are more about them than about you? When you distance yourself, you break that illusion, and suddenly they feel something they can't explain. It's discomfort, anger, guilt, fear, but most of all, it's an unsettling question they dare not ask. Who am I without you? It's a strange thought, isn't it? The idea that someone might rely on you, not out of love or true connection, but because you serve as a crutch for something they don't want to face within themselves. Yet that's the reality of many human relationships. We are mirrors, but we are also support systems. When you decide to let go, you force others to confront a truth they've been avoiding. Their attachment was never to you, but to the idea of you. And that's where the real mystery begins. What do they actually feel when you're gone? Some might say sadness, others disappointment, some may even turn to resentment. But in reality, they don't truly know. The void you leave has no clear shape. It's not a wound they can heal, not a pain they can easily name. It's something much deeper, something that echoes what they've never wanted to admit. What really happens in their minds when you step away? What fears do you awaken? And more importantly, why does that simple act carry such immense power? Why does it create such a disturbance in their soul? Today, we're not going to skim the surface. We're diving deep into what truly happens when you walk away. What others feel but don't say, what they try to suppress, and above all, why this seemingly simple decision reveals the darkest corners of their psychology. Prepare yourself, because this won't be a comfortable journey. There are no easy answers here, no simple truths that won't make you uneasy. This is an exploration of human emotions, the hidden spaces most prefer to avoid. But if you're here, something inside you already knows. Stepping away doesn't just change your life, it shakes the world of those who don't know how to exist without you. And that is the real mystery we're about to unravel. When you choose to leave, something intriguing happens. People reconstruct a narrative about you, but that story isn't about who you truly are. It's about who you were to them, and more importantly, what they lost with your absence. They begin to analyze you from a distance, searching for clues, patterns, anything to help them understand your decision. But here's the twist. They're not truly trying to understand you. They're searching for a way to justify themselves. Your absence forces them to confront a question they never wanted to ask. How much of my emotional stability depended on this person? For many, that question is unbearable, because in their pursuit of independence and strength, they now have to face an uncomfortable truth. They relied on you more than they ever admitted, and so their perception of you begins to change. Not because you've changed, but because they need to reshape the story of your departure into something they can live with. Some will idealize you, believing your absence makes you more valuable than they realized. Others will demonize you, convincing themselves that your departure was selfish, even cruel, because blaming you is easier than admitting that your decision unsettled them. What's even more fascinating is how differently people react, based on what you represented in their lives. For some, your absence is an open wound. For others, it reopens wounds they thought had healed. And for a few, it forces them to face their greatest fear, being alone with themselves. This is where things get complicated. It's not just that people react, it's how their reactions evolve over time. At first, there might be anger or confusion, but as time passes, your absence becomes something more abstract. They start to question whether they ever truly knew you, or if they only saw what they wanted to see. And that doubt can consume them, because your departure isn't just a physical one, it's symbolic. It marks a shift in a dynamic they no longer control. And a loss of control always breeds anxiety. Here's the irony. Many people don't even understand why your decision affects them so deeply. In their minds, you weren't that important. You didn't hold that big of a role in their life. But your absence exposes the cracks in their emotional foundation, the ones they've been trying to hide. And what they feel, it's not about you, it's about what your distance forces them to confront within themselves. There's something deeply unsettling about how stepping away can become a trial by fire for the relationships you leave behind. Often, your absence exposes an uncomfortable truth. Many human connections aren't built on love or mutual respect, but on convenience, power dynamics, and unspoken needs. And when you break those dynamics, people don't just lose you, they lose the support system, the reference point, the balance you unknowingly provided. So here's the question no one wants to ask. What's left of them when you're no longer there? For some, the answer is simple. They move on, find new connections, adjust. But for others, your absence leaves a void they don't know how to fill. Because your presence was never just a presence, it was an anchor, holding together something much bigger. And without you, that structure begins to crumble. The most fascinating part? This experience of stepping away transforms both sides. It's not just that they feel your absence, you too feel the weight of your decision. Because walking away isn't easy. It takes courage to look in the mirror and say, I need space for myself, even if others won't understand. And that, though necessary, can be terrifying. If you've read this far, I know something in these words resonates with you. Maybe you've walked away from someone. Maybe you've felt the world shift around you because of that decision. Or maybe, on the other hand, someone has walked away from you and you're searching for answers. Whatever your situation, I invite you to reflect. How much of your inner peace depends on others? And how much are you willing to let go in order to find it? If this message speaks to you, leave a comment with the phrase, "The void doesn't define me, it frees me." Write it if you've seen yourself in these words. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because here we talk about the things others avoid. The truths that make us uncomfortable but ultimately transform us. And remember, sometimes the greatest act of love isn't staying, it's showing someone they can stand on their own. Even if they don't see it at first, that may be the most profound gift you ever give them.